Today, jurors in the Kim Potter trial resumed deliberations following a question to the judge about what to do if they can't all agree. Potter is on trial for shooting and killing Daunte Wright during a traffic stop earlier this year. Potter says she accidentally grabbed her gun instead of her taser in the heat of that moment. A jury will decide whether Potter's actions were negligent or if it was just a tragic mistake, as the defense is arguing. Trial attorney Jamie White joins me now to talk about where the jury might be in its deliberations, given the questions asked on Tuesday. Thanks, Jamie, for being here. I want to talk a little bit about the jury's question to the judge. Can anything be gleaned from that question? I mean, we can't assume, we can't speculate, but why would they ask that?
I think we can speculate. You know, this jury has been out for more than 15 hours. The case is not extraordinarily complicated. There isn't a ton of scientific evidence that we often see in these sorts of cases. And the fact they've been out this long, I think, speaks volumes as to what's going on in that jury room. The question that was posed that I believe you're referencing is, you know, in effect, you know, we're having a difficult time coming to a decision. You know, what does that mean? You know, in a criminal case, it is required that there is a unanimous decision. This is very unlike a civil case where just a majority of the jurors in some states need to find some negligence or culpability. So that question is very significant. It's not unusual and it's not unheard of. And I would even go so far to say that when you get this question and the jurors are sent back into the jury room to continue deliberations, it's more common than not that there's some form of verdict, but clearly there is something going on in the back of that room associated with whether or not she's going to be found culpable from a criminal point of view.
The judge actually told the jury, as an answer to that question, you should not surrender your honest opinion to reach a verdict. So clearly, this is a process. It's not an easy one. What happens if they do not come to an agreement?
So it's likely that the judge would probably send them back an additional time with another, what we call a hung jury instruction, to continue deliberating for some period of time. And they will have to send a message back to the court at some point that they are unable under any circumstances to come to a unanimous verdict. If that happens, we will have a mistrial. The prosecutor will have to decide whether or not they want to retry. I think the more likely scenario would be some form of resolution between the parties. I think that this case was generated to some degree based on the politics in Minneapolis at the time and, of course, what was happening in that community. Not to suggest Ms. Potter doesn't have some culpability here, but you know, there may have been some rush to judgment and maybe some over prosecution. So, you know, a mistrial would probably result in a resolution, in my opinion. But, you know, again, I think today is going to tell the tale, and I wouldn't be surprised if they come back with some type of verdict.
All right. Jamie White, thank you for being with us, and thank you for your answers. We appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.